In the spring of 1803, Meriwether Lewis began to purchase scientific and mathematical instruments for a pending expedition to the northwest region of North America. Among the items he purchased from Philadelphia instrument maker Thomas Whitney were 3 pocket compasses for $2.50 each, and this silver-plated pocket compass for $5. It has a mahogany box, a silver-plated brass rim that is graduated to degrees and numbered in quadrants from north and south, a paper dial, and 2 small sight vanes, and a leather carrying case. Whether Lewis purchased this compass for himself or intended it as a special gesture for William Clark, it's not known. By the time they returned to St. Louis in September 1806, few of the instruments that were purchased for the trip had survived the journey. The pocket compass, however, was kept by Clark as a memento. He later gave the compass to his friend, Captain Robert A. McCabe, whose heirs donated it in 1933 to the Smithsonian Institution. A compass would have been vital to this journey as they tracked their locations along the way, and as you read their journals, you'll notice they document directions in almost every entry. As maps are drawn, including a compass rose is also an important feature. Today, for our journals, we are going to learn how to draw a compass rose. Today we're going to be drawing a compass rose just like this. And if you're going to be doing this in your journal, I want you to make sure before we start you put a piece of paper underneath this page. And you can learn from my mistake, because the first time I drew it, I didn't do that, and look at the paper behind it bled through. So the marker bled through. So you will want to put a piece of scratch paper behind this so your marker doesn't ruin the next page of your journal. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting with a pencil and a ruler. And in the center of your paper, you are going to draw a circle, fill that in, kind of a big dot. Try to put it as close in the center of your paper as you can. And I'm basing this on the fact that you're going to be using an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. But I know some of you might have journals that are smaller than that. So you can adjust the size based on your paper. So for example, we're going to draw a line horizontally straight through this that is 6 inches long. And to get 6 inches, I want my line to be centered in the dot. So I'm going to put my half of 6 is 3, so I'm going to put 3 inches, my 3-inch mark right in the middle of the dot, and I'm going to start from 0 and draw right to 6. Okay, so if you have half that size paper, maybe you want to make a 4-inch line. If you have smaller than that, maybe a 2-inch line. So you can adjust it as you need to. Then we're going to also draw a line the other opposite direction. So again, I want it to be 6 inches. So I'm going to put my 3-inch, and now we have this line. So my mark at 3 inches can line up with this. And this is going to be a perpendicular line. It's going to start at 0, 3 is right in the center, and go to 6 inches. And this is a perpendicular line, meaning it's exactly 90 degrees from the first line. So now I have a horizontal line, I have a vertical line, and now I'm going to make diagonal lines going both directions, but these are going to be smaller. I want these to be 4 inches long. So, you guessed it, half of 4 is 2, so I'm going to line up my 2-inch mark, and I don't want to draw it, I want to try to get in the center as much as possible. Make a center diagonal. And I'm going to start at 0, 2 inches is in the middle, and draw it to 4. There's a 4-inch line. And then we're going to go the other direction again, try to make it as diagonal. See, now I can line up that 2-inch line. Okay, so here I have my diagonals as close as I can. Okay, so next I'm going to draw a line from this top. Let's say this is like our north. We're going to draw from this point to about here on this line. I'm going to draw it as straight as I can. If you would like to use a ruler, you may. And then I'm going to try to draw that line about the same distance over here. Looks pretty good. And I find it easier to keep turning my page. Now this one, we're going to draw from this point to this point where we left off. So again, I'm going to draw that. And again, I want to kind of make a point over here. You're welcome again to use your ruler. And now I'm going to keep going this way. From here to here. And from here to here. And this one I wasn't totally, this didn't line up perfectly, but that's okay. You're going to do it close as you can, and then you can always go over it with your black marker when we finish. So you're going to go from this point to this point, and this point to this point, and this one doesn't look like it lines up quite as well, but when we turn it, we could actually draw that again and make that line up, and then erase this later. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So next what you're going to draw is, these are our main cardinal points, so north, south, east, and west. And we're going to draw the secondary marks from these diagonal lines, going from here. They're just going to that line. So you want them to be diagonal, about the same distance apart. All right, you're just going to do your best. And again, I'm not gonna worry about erasing all that yet. We're gonna do the erasing of the lines at the very end. You'll see why. Okay, so the next part we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a kind of a curved line that goes from one of these points to the other, and it's going to line up here with that point. And I'm gonna go from here. Oh, that one didn't quite line up. I can fix that. Yeah, that one's a little bit off. I'll do that one again. Should have started lower. There we go. Okay, and don't worry about erasing all those lines yet. I'm gonna go from here. And it's okay if this doesn't seem to make a perfect circle. When you put this back, it looks pretty cool. Again, I could make this one a little bit more arched, but you get the idea. And so now we're gonna start doing our black lines. I'm gonna use a black Sharpie. You can use any black marker you want. And I'm gonna start going over these main lines first with my black. I'm gonna draw just straight on through. If I went off a little bit, I can go over it again. And then I'm going to go diagonally the other way. And then I'm going to outline the edge of this star shape next. And you'll see our next step. So now I'm going to draw the diagonal lines in. Oops, I didn't stop too soon. And then this diagonal line in. Okay. Now I'm going to color in this section of my of this whole shape. I'm going to color in the right side. And this is why you need that scratched sheet of paper in your journal, because this marker will go through your paper and bleed onto the next journal page. Okay, so there. Then I'm going to turn it to the next point, and I'm going to do the same thing. The right side, I'm going to color in. Do the same thing again. Color in the right side. And the last one. Okay, so it's looking good. And not just that shading in makes it look a little bit more dynamic. So the next part is going to finish drawing these secondary lines. Oops, I got off a little bit there. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to color in the right side of these triangles. Right triangle, okay. Again here. So this is a little bit why I didn't have you erase any pencil marks yet, because a lot of them are going to be covered up and you really won't have much to erase, if anything. Okay, so then the last part we're going to just color, mark over our black, our curved lines with our black. And again, this is a good place to fix any lines that were off. All right, looks pretty good. So I might have a little bit of pencil to erase over here, but not much, it's hard to tell. So then the final thing we're gonna do is label our compass rose. So we know north is here, we're gonna put a big N, and you can kind of make it fancy and put some marks to make it look, you can even look up a font online that you wanna mimic. And then south is down here. And west. And east. And then the secondary directions as well. And again, you always put the N or the S first. So this one is northeast. And this one is northwest. I like to kind of write them so you can see it all from one direction. So this one, the south would be first, so southeast. And this one, southwest. And there you have a compass rose.